Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle and thank you for joining me here. So today we have an article from Breitbart. According to some researchers, universities should make STEM classes easier for women. A new paper published by a team of supposed researchers makes a case that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, also known as STEM, those courses should be made easier for female students. According to a report by Campus Reform, a research paper published in December argues that universities should make STEM courses easier for women because female students, on the whole, perform worse than male students. The paper, which is titled Equilibrium, Grade Inflation with Implications for Female Interest in STEM Majors, was written by Naval Postgraduate School Professor Thomas Ahn, Duke University Professor Peter Arcidiacono, what weird last name, Duke University research economists Amy Hobson and James R. Thomas of the Federal Trade Commission. Although the paper claims that women receive higher grades in science and math courses than men, there are still significantly more men than women majoring in these subjects, based on research that suggests that female students put a greater emphasis on high grades than male students. The paper argues that making STEM courses easier will attract more female students. That in itself doesn't seem unrealistic. If you lower the standards, you're probably going to get more of the end result. The abstract for the research paper claims that harsher grading policies in science and math courses disproportionately affect women. Well, maybe it sounds like the women should just get better. Substantial earnings differences exist across majors, with the majors that pay well also having lower grades and higher workloads. We show that the harsher grading policies in STEM courses disproportionately affect women. To show this, we estimate a model of student demand courses and optimal effort choices of students conditional on the chosen courses. Instructor grading policies are treated as equilibrium objects that, in part, depend on student demand for courses. Restrictions on grading policies that equalize average grades across classes helps to close the STEM gender gap, as well as increasing overall enrollment in STEM classes. Kinda sounds like the supposed gender pay gap. The researchers argue that gender inequities in the STEM majored could be lessened by artificially inflating grades for all STEM students. Yes, just give them a handout. The study claims that the STEM fields would see a huge increase of 11.3% in female students if STEM classes were curved to a B letter grade. That's right. Even if they're failing, give them a B. You're going to get maybe up to 11% increase in female students. That sounds great. The long short of it, this is all in an attempt to make outcomes as equal as possible by dragging down other people. That's it. Equality for everyone, no matter what the cost. So, the idea that females aren't doing well as men in STEM majors is realistic. They obviously, from this article and from the paper, they found that in general, females ain't doing well in STEM majors. But according to this new paper, women supposedly receive higher grades in science and math courses than men. Something's not adding up here. It kind of sounds like, with females getting higher grades but still performing poorly, someone or some people are already trying to inflate the grades for females, because that just doesn't make any sense. They're getting higher grades but doing worse. In reality, of course, women, like I said earlier, are performing worse, and because of this inequality, some researchers, not just from this paper, but researchers across the nation, are and will be calling for the lowering of standards, which will make it easier to attract more female students because of malrepresentation. Lower standards, of course, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for this case, it's absolutely foolish. By lowering standards for STEM degrees, you will absolutely see a decline in quality of student work and ability. I don't think anyone wants that. It's one thing if standards are too high and no one is able to graduate with a STEM degree, but That's not the case. There are plenty of people, of course mostly men, who are capable of graduating with the current standards. Just because females are generally inferior to males, especially in obtaining STEM degrees, that doesn't mean you should lower the standards. If you lower the standards, then you give a negative reputation to STEM majors. But, I want to look at, really quickly, the abstract for this paper. We show that the harsher grading policies in STEM courses disproportionately affect women. They make it sound like that these grading policies are put in place to actively discriminate against women, which is completely untrue. Furthermore, restrictions on grading policies that equalize average grades across classes helps to close the STEM gender gap, as well as increasing overall enrollment in STEM classes. Those two sentences are set there, or placed there, to give you the idea, the back-in-the-mind idea of pushing equality of outcomes by referencing that there is a gender gap of anything. Whoever's writing the paper, or the group of people that are writing the paper, they're pushing, or at least implying, that equality of outcomes is desirable. Oh no, there's a gap. We should close the gap. It's basically saying that we must ensure that we drag other people down to our pathetic level. That's pretty much any gender gap is. A total waste of time that pushes an ideology that most people don't even realize. They never question their beliefs. They never question if equality is good, if anything else is good. They don't, and I kind of understand why they don't. You really don't see it, maybe until it's too late, or you actually study history and other stuff like this. But lastly, I do want to put this in here. This study claims that if the STEM fields would curve female scores to at least a B letter grade, that might increase the percentage of female representation by 11%. That's really pathetic. A measly 11% if you give all the failures, the female failures, passing grades. Now, this won't happen to males. If males are failing STEM, they won't get a curve. No, we don't believe in equality of opportunity. We believe in equality of outcomes by dragging down everyone around us, by ruining the reputation of STEM degrees. Glorious, isn't it? Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great, great day.